Hi, it's Micah. I did decide to do the Moonchild Majors video. I wasn't sure at first because they're a little bit more obvious, so I did read the book first. So, we're comparing the Moonchild to the Dark Forest Rider deck. Clear some space here. So, we got the Fool. Fairly traditional. Got the Wolf peering into the unknown. Doesn't appear to be stopping her. Got some butterflies symbolizing that new hope. So, the magician. I like the more traditional where he's using the tools, like he's at an altar preparing for work, compared to this one. So, if like the tools weren't there, I would almost think of this as like an emperor card. Maybe that's just me, but I'd like to see the interaction, right? Beautiful high priestess. So we got the towers, we got the moon. She is not holding the scroll here. The book's actually down at her feet, which is a little disappointing. But she has the triple moon goddess necklace on, and in the book that signifies that she has basically the acquired wisdom of Hecate. So the Empress. Traditionally, we got the Venus, we got the wheat, the pomegranates in her dress, and the stars, right? And then the Moonchild. I mean, we have some foliage and the lushness of the flowers. I almost feel like this could be a High Priestess card, though, right? Because I feel like she's kind of like stop, look, listen, you know, think about the answers that are inside of you type of feeling, more than a necessarily nurturing card. But I could also see, traveling to the woods to meet this wonderful woman and getting that motherly advice and a good hug. So I can work with it. All right, the Emperor. So we are losing the traditional symbolism, some of it, like the rams. I do gotta say, I don't know what it is, but like this paint color scheme like reminds me of paint. Like it makes me want to paint furniture. I don't know. It's like chalk paint or something. But it does look like he's more connected with his emotions. He has the water and the words are hard at his feet here. He does still have the staff. It does seem less about monetary gain or maybe power over people. He seems a little bit more chill and down to earth, which is okay. Don't want to get yelled at. He doesn't look overly controlling. The Hierophant. All right, so we got the towers, we got the staff. We do not have the disciples. And this card I think could be interchangeable with the High Priestess in a way, but I do like that we have the feminine energy with the High Priestess. But you can see these are like mirrored cards, right? The moon and everything. And the water. But I like that there's no sex or age or anything associated with this card. It's just like space inside of the robe. So it reminds you that you never know who's going to come in your life and teach you that lesson, what you need to learn. It often can come by somebody you might not even like. But if you're like willing to keep your mind open, you can learn from anyone. And I do like that, and that it's less popish, right? So the lovers, we don't really have any traditional symbolism in this card. So there's no angel or tree. There is kind of like that mountain in the background, but in the traditional card, it's almost like a division in my mind, right? Like they're on either side and have to like come together, and it could be a challenge. But this lover card is very beautiful and peaceful. And I like that it's like not overly romantic, like they're touching foreheads. And in the book, it does say about friendship and things like that, because when decks are overly lovey dovey, I get thrown off because I'm not ready for romance, so I don't want it like shoved in my face. Yeah, that's a whole nother issue. So, the Chariot. It's weird that there's nothing pulling it, but I came to terms with it and I get it. Like, her eyes are either closed or like just peeking open, and it's like she's moving it forward with her mind. Like, you're only moving forward if you make the decision to do so and know what goal you're going towards. So that's fine. We do lose that duality, though, of possibly not knowing which direction to go. So, the strength card. At first glance, I'm like, she's, meditating or something. But it seems kind of boring compared to this. But I like that she's not dominating the lion. So the book talks about it more being like that the lion is wild and free, but she's learned to have that embodied confidence and strength inside herself, that they're more like equals. She doesn't have to dominate the lion. She's not being dominated by the lion. They're on equal footing, so they're both at peace. And I think that's good. The Hermit. So there's no lantern, but this way it looks like she's going towards illumination. So that's okay. And I really like this cool cave. Like, I thought about, is it called spelunking? I don't know. There's some caves around where I live that you can take tours of. I think it would be cool. Movies like The Descent kind of scare me a little bit, but Um, so yeah, I like that it's very like still and quiet. Like, she's already at a place where the noise of the world is kind of blocked out, and she's either leaving that to go back into the world, or she's going into that personal, this is my space, my sanctuary, um, private time. So the wheel. I wasn't happy with how stagnant this card looks. Like, there's very little movement in a card that should be about change, right? Like, this has a lot of implied movement. Like, their wings are probably like flapping and the wheels turning. Um, so yeah, it's a little bit stagnant. And there's another card that it's really similar to, I want to bring up later. But I do like the book. I like when they emphasize about like repeating life cycles. So after reading, I was like, okay, so if you notice that a certain situation is coming up again, maybe you're looking at it finally and realizing, like, I'm not going to open that door again. Like, I'm not even going to walk in that situation. I'm going to turn around and I'm going to walk away. So I like that, but beginner wise, it doesn't really hint to that much. Okay. Justice. So she got the sword and the scales. I wasn't super crazy about this, but I do like the idea of a labyrinth. I wanted to build one before in a yard. It was in some movie. They were like, well, if you walk the labyrinth, by the time you get to the middle, if you were thinking about a question, you'll have the answer by the end. And I always thought that was a really cool concept to kind of bring meditation combined with physical movement, right? But, you know, she's okay. I want to compare this to another card. Alright, so the Hanged Man. I do wish this was illuminated, but I really enjoy that there's no restraint. So this person's holding their heart above their head, which is, I thought was cute in the book, but at the same time, sometimes you need to follow your head a little bit more than what you're feeling, because it might not be the best decision for you. I really dig the sparkly water though. Like, yes. Anyway, so I like that they're not restrained. They're not like forced in this position. They're choosing to take the time to think. All right, love this death card. I know it's not traditional, so we don't got a horse. We have a skeleton, but this is like the rider is coming. You know what I mean? Like, it's a very powerful image. Um, this is just beautiful. Like, I like snakes. I have them. This is one of the reasons why I bought this deck. I wish it wasn't so grainy, and I hate that her toes are cut off, but that's just me being picky. Yeah, I'm gonna read from the book about this card later on. I didn't want to bore you guys too much for those who aren't interested. So here we got Temperance. It's interesting that the cups aren't sharing fluid. That sounds gross saying it, but it's still really pretty. And I think it gets the point across. Right? You still got those wings. It seems very divine. Oh, and the triangle. I didn't even see that last time. Yeah, I dig it. Kind of interesting that there's not the water and land combo. You guys, I love this devil card. So, really not traditional. We don't have the chains. We don't even necessarily have people. We have statues. But. We do have Saturn. I thought this was a scratch on the card originally. It is not. But have you guys, like, do you remember watching the old Exorcist movies? So they, like, found a statue in, like, an old church or something, and it, like, I don't know, contains an entity that possesses the people. And that's what I get from this card. Every time I see it. Like the demons came out, right? And I do really like what the book has to say. But yeah, I'm totally down with this non-traditional, like, creepy vibe. I like it. Alright. So, this tower reminds me of, like, the movie 300 when they go and visit the seers. I'm not sure what they were referred to as. Maybe oracles? Traditionally, the tower's a lot more violent than the Moonchild. We got the lightning, the fire, the crown falling, the people. We do have the people, and we have the water, and we have the rock. I think it's really pretty, and it's a little bit less violent. In the book, it says, although the people are obviously scared because they don't realize it at the time of falling, but the water's going to catch them, and they're going to be okay. Like, you're going to move on from this. So that's reassuring, right? We all need some reassurance when we pull bad cards. Bad cards. So the star. I think I like the traditional one more, even though in this version she has, like, I don't know, blotch on her face. whatever. So, this one just seems kind of boring to me. A little boring, but I do get the sense of ritual. It's almost like she took her bowl cup, filled it up, and then held it up to the star, which I wish it looked more like a star instead of a moon. Or maybe this is the star and that's the moon. I don't know. But we still have that twin pillar action going on. I'm not really sure why. And she's not pouring it on land and water again. It's just one kind of, I don't know. Almost like she's making moon water for a ritual for her dreams to come true. Alright, the moon card. So, we got the wolf doggies, whatever they are. The woman kind of makes the pillars. We have the moon phases instead of the face of the moon. Again, I think this card's a little stagnant. But it says about she's absorbing the rays of the sun to like harness that energy, which is cool. But this is the card that looks quite similar to the Wheel of Fortune, right? The only thing that's different is we got the dogs instead of the sphinxes, and we have water instead of that pathway. I'm sorry, I have the sniffles, my throat's all scratchy. I'm not sick though, it's just weather. So the sun. I do not like happy babies on horses. I mean, I like horses. I don't have babies. I have cats. So, not usually my thing, but I do like the Moonchild. So I like that celebrating, you know, holding hands, dancing. They still kept the rays, which I like. And the book talks about childhood, that nostalgia feeling. And I remember playing outside with my cousins when I was little, or when it was a really sunny day in the summer and you're a kid and it's the best thing ever and you're so happy and you don't even realize why. And I like that the book talks about remembering to harness that energy, and you can kind of choose to bring it out in your life, which is important because it's easy to get stuck in like laziness and depression. So, Judgment. I got some things about this card. What do I want to say? So, we lose the traditional symbolism, which I'm not really biblical, but this card does seem a lot more stagnant, right? So, it says that Thoth, which makes sense because there's Egyptian references throughout this deck, weighs the heart of a feather, but he also basically documents our life story. So you can kind of, if you pay attention to the things you do in life and make better choices, eventually you should come across that awakening. It's kind of the feel I'm getting. Because if they chose to have him holding the scales with the heart and the feather, it would be so much like the Justice card. I'm still not 100% sure how I'm going to analyze this. Like I said, I did read through the book, but I don't know. All right. And then traditionally we have the world with the fixed signs, you know. And in Moonchild, she's holding the universe, part of the universe, and she knows that I forget. Basically that what she is a part of everything else. The cycle is complete. Alright, so these are the extra cards. I did not end up reading on them yet because I'm running out of time before work tonight. That looks messy. Whatever, they're there. Okay. So, I just wanted to say, is this the first one? Yeah. So there's a lot of info, right? So there's the questions and the keywords like there typically is, but then there's several pages on each card. And there's a lot more questions. So I think these might be more for journaling, and I do like journaling. I appreciate that they're in there, and I assume that they have so much more text because most people understand the RWS meetings, so they have more to look up on their own about the individual cards. I'm struggling with this book right now. Like death, we can look it up in a regular generic book and understand the meaning a little bit. So, back to this death card. Let me find it. Oh man. Why is this so difficult? I'm sorry, I should have paused this, guys. Alright. So, we got the keywords, we got questions, but I really like how they described it. So if a newbie, like, got the death card, they might not be so scared. This powerful card shares a profound initiation into an entirely new state of consciousness. When major shifts begin to stir within your heart and soul, when you hit rock bottom, end a relationship, decide to quit your job, or want a fresh start. This reevaluation of old patterns or beliefs may force you to eliminate the distractions you have been experienced thus far. So yeah. And the reversed, I don't always think are the reverse meanings in my opinion. I think they're more just like more information on the card. I don't read reversals. I just read it all and pick and choose. But yeah, so energy cannot be created or destroyed, only changed from one form to another. So I think that's a really beautiful way to look at it. So the sucky things that happen in life usually let us leave that behind and choose something better, more fulfilling for ourselves in the future. So thank you guys so much for watching. Have a great day.